Post-traumatic stress disorder is a serious problem for our nation's veterans. Senator Deb Fischer recently reintroduced a bill to help veterans get service dogs. For years, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have worked to provide support to cover the estimated $25,000 cost. Reporter Kent Lutzen shows us how some veterans have found a way around that lofty price tag and still have the trained dog they need.
Meet Lizzie. She's Heath Helm's service dog and has played an important role in his life post-Marines.
Crowds have always been a big problem for me. Not always, but since I got out of the Marines. And just anxiety, just very bad anxiety in uncontrolled environments.
After serving 5 years and spending time in Iraq, Helm suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. He says this caused his entire life to change and knew he needed a service dog.
Lizzie has been with Heath for the last 2.5 years, but she's only been a service dog for the last 3 to 4 months. She went through a 6-week training.
One, she gets me out of my own head. If my anxiety starts to crank, she can sense it, and she comes up and she nudges my hands, and she really demands my attention.
Helm had to find an alternative route to help pay for this training. It often costs up to $25,000. Recently, Congress is again trying to help pay for these service dogs through a reintroduced bill. The Puppies Assisting Wounded Service Members, or PAWS Act, would require the Department of Veterans Affairs to offer up to $25,000 in vouchers to help place a veteran with a trained service dog. Nebraska Senator Deb Fischer was an original sponsor of the bill back in 2016 and just reintroduced it. She says veterans with PTSD may have left the battlefield, but they are still in a tough fight. Service dogs can provide support, peace, and joy to these Americans as they confront the invisible scars of war. But this bill has failed to gain traction, leaving veterans like Helm to raise money themselves or find generous donors. This is when Helm reached out to Dylan's dog training.
We basically show them how to train their own service dogs so that they can repeat the process as many times as possible. So in 10 years when that dog retires, they do it again and again and again.
Russ Dillon, the president of Dylan's Dog Training, is also a veteran and trained dogs in the military. With some help from other veteran organizations, Dillon is able to train service dogs for much cheaper or even free for veterans, which is exactly how Helm was able to afford to get Lizzie trained.
Since I've gotten her, those problems they don't totally gone away, but I have another coping mechanism to deal with them. And my quality of life has just vastly improved, and that's what the veterans that are getting the service dogs are looking for.
In Omaha, Kent Lutzen, 3 News Now.
Dylan's Dog Training charges around $3,000 to train the dogs. Javelin, a local veteran organization, often helps veterans cover that cost.